What if I told you there's a simple financial tool so powerful it can turn a few dollars into thousands, even millions, with almost no extra effort from you? And what if I told you that every day you're not using this tool, you're literally giving up a piece of your future wealth? Today, we're talking about the power of compounding. Albert Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. But if that's true, why do most people still ignore it? Or worse, why are so many people falling behind while compounding continues to build fortunes in silence? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to harness it, and maybe even be inspired to take action right now. Let's dive in. You're 25, just starting out, and you've got a choice. You could buy that cool new phone, or you could invest that $1,000 instead. Sure, the phone feels good now, but what about 5, 10, or even 30 years down the road? Enter the idea of compounding. Here's where most people mess up. They think, oh, I'll start saving and investing later. But the truth is, every year you wait to start compounding, it's like giving away free money. That's the danger of ignoring this power. You might just end up out of time before you ever really get started. Okay, so what exactly is compounding? Imagine a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's tiny, but as it rolls, it picks up more snow, growing faster and faster. In financial terms, this means your investments don't just earn returns. They start earning returns on their returns. For example, if you invest just $1,000 at an annual rate of 10%, in the first year, you'd earn $100. But in year two, you're not just earning on the original $1,000, you're earning on $1,100, and so on. Pretty soon, that $1,000 becomes $10,000, or even $100,000 over time. I can practically hear some of you thinking, but 30 years? Who has that kind of time? Here's a twist, though. You don't need 30 years to see results. The earlier you start, the faster compounding works for you. Now let's dig a little deeper. The most common mistake? Waiting too long to start. In fact, let's run a quick comparison. Let's say person A invests $5,000 every year from age 25 to 35, then stops. And person B starts at age 35 and invests $5,000 a year until they turn 65. Believe it or not, even though person A invested for just 10 years, they often end up with more money than person B, who invested for 30 years. Why? Because of compounding. Shocking, right? It's almost like time itself becomes your co-investor. If you're young, compounding is literally the closest thing to a superpower you can get in finance. And if you're not starting young, don't worry. Compounding still works. It's just best to start now rather than later. So, how exactly do you start using this compounding effect to build wealth today? Let's look at a few practical steps. Now that you understand the power of compounding, let's get into the action steps. Step 1. Invest regularly. You don't need a huge amount. Even $100 a month can make a huge difference when you give it time to grow. And before you say, I can't save $100 a month, think about it. That's probably just one less Starbucks latte every few days, or maybe skip one Uber ride. Step 2. Choose the right investment vehicle. Compound interest works best in assets like index funds, stocks, or even certain bonds that offer consistent returns. Don't get too fancy. The goal here is to get started and stay consistent. But here's the critical part most people miss: reinvesting. This is where the magic really happens. Compounding works best when you reinvest your returns. Let's say you earn $100 in a given year. Instead of cashing out, let that $100 work for you. You're now growing both your original investment and the returns, allowing your wealth to snowball faster. Over time, this difference can become massive. Imagine yourself a decade from now, looking at your investments. You've not only saved money, but you've made your money work for you. This is why compounding is often described as money-making money. Have you ever thought of money as an employee? Because with compounding, that's exactly what's happening. It's earning while you sleep, work, or hang out with friends. Now, let's talk about the most overlooked aspect of compounding: patience. Compounding doesn't work in weeks or even months. It's a long-term game. This is where most people give up because the results can seem slow at first. But remember that snowball? The momentum builds over time. The first few years might feel like watching paint dry, but over decades, the growth is exponential. In fact, it's during those later years that the compounding effect truly takes off, multiplying wealth in ways that might seem unimaginable today. So if you're ever tempted to pull your money out, just think, are you ready to give up your potential millions for the short-term thrill of spending? Patience pays, literally. Now, you know the power of compounding. It's not just a strategy, it's a mindset. Imagine yourself 10, 20, even 30 years from now. Your future self will either thank you for starting today or wonder what could have been. If you're ready to start taking control of your finances, check out our next video on passive income ideas for beginners in 2024. These are the strategies you can use to fund your investments and keep that compounding snowball rolling. Don't let another day slip by. Remember, the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time, right now. See you in the next video.